Before we get into the big changes coming from the bye week, I got to update you guys on our season-long sub battle against our biggest rivals, Bears Now. They're up about 45 subscribers. Not bad. We've actually bridged the gap a lot closer than it was at the beginning of the week. But down 45, that's not good enough for me. I'm trying to be in the lead, and I need you guys to help me do so. If you haven't subscribed yet, today is the perfect day to do so because it helps us prove to everybody in the National Football League that the best fans in the NFC North, they're in Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers season so far has been a roller coaster. You dominated Detroit week 1, 27-13. You then dominated Washington 4 days later on Thursday Night Football, 27-18. And then you absolutely laid an egg against the Cleveland Browns. You're up 10-3 in that game, 3:18 left in the fourth, and you lost it. And then you fumbled that clock management in overtime against the Dallas Cowboys and ended up tying that football game. With all of that being said, and with everything we've seen, it's pretty obvious that there are some changes that need to be in order for Green Bay going forward. Because if you continue to trot out the effort and some of the things I've seen over the past couple of weeks, you're not going to have near the season I think we all expected them to after the first 2 weeks of the season. Now, the cool thing with that is, and I don't think this should be a surprise to any of us, because if we see it, we know he sees it, but Matt Lafleur agrees that there are some changes that need to be made when it comes to this team going forward in the 2025 NFL season. He spoke in his press conference on Monday, and he said a lot of things that we're going to talk about, and hopefully he means those are going to be some changes. Number one, starting off with special teams. And this one might actually be the biggest change, in my opinion, of all of them that need to happen, just because you've lost games because of your special teams. Week 3 against Cleveland, that field goal gets blocked. You kick that field goal there, that's pretty much game over. And I don't got to remind you about the 3-point swing against Dallas with the blocked extra point, taken back for 2. You tied that game. I don't need to tell you that if you have 3 more points to your score, that's a win. That's how math works. Well, Matt Lafleur was asked about it, and he said the following. You're supposed to get body presence, talking about the point after. And we've got to extend our outside arm by the tight end. We knew it was coming because it happened the previous play. And when he's talking about that body presence and that outside arm, he says by the tight end, but when you look at a point after formation, Brant Banks was basically playing that tight end spot in their PAT on that offensive line. He's talking about Brant Banks here. And you want to know how I know? It's pretty simple. The Packers released him on Tuesday. Okay? So, yeah, he was talking about Brant Banks. Talking about the tight end. That's where Brant Banks was. And then he did bad, obviously, because they blocked kicks, and he's been released subsequently. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the point after attempt. This is attempt number 1. So this is the one that goes in. You can see Brant Banks. I circled him in red right there. In this play, he's taken on 2 blocks. It's Donovan Ezaraku. He's on the left. And then I don't know who's number 2 for the Cowboys, but I have them both pointed with arrows in yellow right there so you can see them. Well, on the first point after attempt, number 2 for Dallas gets by Brant Banks, but a little bit slower. So that point after attempt ends up going through. However, he saw that. He knew that. Their special teams coordinator probably saw it and knew it, made some adjustments, and on that second point after attempt, he is just running absolutely naked. He's the one that blocks it, and then, of course, they take it back. They score 2 on that, and that's why you ended up tying that football game. But it's not just the point after attempts that need a change, in my opinion. It's like pretty much every single part of your special teams. And this isn't anything new, unfortunately. The PFF grades for your special teams units over the last 5 seasons, you have not had a single unit end the year in the top 6. Not one. Excuse me. Top 26. 31st, 26th, 28th, 32nd, 30th so far in the 2025 season. This is unacceptable. And I think I've talked about it earlier this week. I don't understand how Rich Bisaccia has a job still. It's absolutely ludicrous because this special teams unit is terrible. And now we got to talk about the kickoff returns as well. Matt Schneidman talked about this in his article with The Athletic. He said there was 3 times the ball bounced inside of the 5, not 50, and Savion Williams downed it in the end zone, giving Green Bay the ball with the new kickoff rules at the 20 instead of the 35. Well, Matt Lafleur obviously was asked about that, and he said, I think we've got to field those. We have to make every attempt to try to catch those in the air. Most of these returns are going out to at least the 28-yard line. You're talking about a difference of 8 yards at the bare minimum, in my opinion. I think we'll get it out every time past the 30. Yeah, we've got to field those. We've got to be better in those situations. So it's not just the point after attempts, it's everything as a whole. And I know it's ridiculous to harp on special teams and be like, special teams has to change. But guys, these are the reasons you're losing games. It feels ridiculous to call out one unit, especially when it's a unit like the special teams unit, but it's obvious through the first 4 weeks of the season, that's the worst thing about the Green Bay Packers. The margins are slim in this league. The razor thin. And if not everything is performing up to standard, up to par, and one of your units is bottom 2 in the league, bottom 3 in the league, that has to change. Now, the good thing is based on what Matt Lafleur spoke about, I think it will change. What say you guys? What do you think the biggest change that Green Bay needs to make is? You let me know in the comment section down below. While you're down there, I got to tell you guys about our awesome friends at Underdog, and make sure you pay attention because they got an awesome new deal for you. Before we go any further, I got to give a shout out to my favorite sponsor on today's show. That is our great friends at Underdog. Football is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code PackersReport, you score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You want to know how easy it is? Well, your boy won $100, over $100 on Underdog for that Sunday night football game of Cowboys versus Packers. What I did was higher on Dak Prescott, 0 pass and rush yards. Sometimes they give you awesome discounts like that. I went the higher on Matthew Golden first quarter receptions, the higher on Jordan Love passing yards. And again, so easy to make money. I made over 100 with our great friends at Underdog. So download the app today. Sign up with promo code PackersReport to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code PackersReport. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_dfs_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Another thing that Matt Lafleur talked about possibly being changed going forward in the 2025 season is their third down coverages. And I think this was part of the reason that Dallas had so much success was how they were playing on third down. And Matt Lafleur said it perfectly. He said it wasn't just one thing either. Lafleur explained on a couple of third downs after halftime. This is from Mike Spofford. The defensive call was man coverage, but it was played too soft, allowing, quote, easy completions. And when you look back to that Dallas game, the Cowboys actually converted on 36.36% of third downs, which puts them around the top 10 in the National Football League for Week 4 when it comes to third down conversions. Now, part of that reason, like Matt Lafleur said, was those soft coverages. We all know that the cornerbacks really struggled against Dallas. 158.3 passer rating when Valentine was targeted. 135.4 for Nate. 98.6 for Javon. The list goes on and on and on and on. They just, in my opinion, were not playing aggressive enough. And maybe it's because these cornerbacks weren't doing that great and they didn't want to be up there in press man coverage and then possibly get burned over the top. But if you're going to play so soft and so off when you're playing man coverage, especially on third downs, against a quarterback like Dak Prescott, he's just going to be able to pick you apart. And the funny thing is Green Bay actually hasn't played man a ton this season. 16.9% of their snaps have been in man coverage. That's like bottom 10 in the league, 77.6% zone. And I say all that to say, I still have a ton of trust in Jeff Hafley. I'm excited to see where he goes from here. I'm not losing any ounce of faith. I still think he is done a wonderful job so far in 2025. I just think there maybe needs to be a little bit of an adjustment when it comes to how you play third down specifically. But also, like, the defensive line was not getting much pressure. And that's not because they're playing soft man. That's just because offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys is actually on their own pretty well against your D-line on Sunday. How are we feeling with Jeff Hafley? What's your confidence level in him? Scale it 1 to 100. I think all of us would have put it at like 100 right after the Commanders game. I don't know if yours has changed since Dallas. The defense wasn't great. I'm still sitting at like a 90, though. You let me know in the comment section down below. The final thing we're going to talk about that might be changing from here on out is Matthew Golden's targets. It feels like he's finally coming into his own. And I'm not holding anything against him. He's a rookie. It's hard to come into the National Football League. It's hard to adjust quickly. Not all the guys do it. But, in my opinion, his targets, they're only going to grow as this year goes on. And my cool proof from that is we've actually already seen them grow from what they were week 1 and week 2, where everybody was freaking out. What's wrong with Matthew Golden? Why isn't he getting the ball? Why isn't he doing anything? He's a bust. But the last 2 games, 10 targets, 9 catches, 110 yards, 12.3 yards per catch, some pretty big catches and some pretty big moments as well. I'm talking about that 4th down conversion on that final drive. I'm talking about that 3rd down conversion in the Browns game, which, in my opinion, then was the one that iced it. Seems like he might be Jordan Love's go-to guys in those big moments. I love that for a guy who's been in the league for just 4 weeks. And the reason you need to still have faith in him is this chart actually, I think, really, really shows it well. So what you're looking at here is 2025 wide receiver play. Basically, they're grading raw PFF separation. And the further you are on the right and the higher up you are, the better wide receiver you are. And Matthew Golden is as far on the right for raw separation grade as anybody in the NFL except Tyquan Thornton. What that means is he's a phenomenal route runner. And we knew that going into it, but I think it's good for us to still see this after 4 weeks of him being in the National Football League. I just can't wait to see him progress. He's going to keep on getting better. He'll keep getting those targets. And I've got a lot of faith in him that he's going to grow into be that wide receiver 1 that we all kind of expected him to be when he got drafted. Make sure you guys have me followed on social media. That's it for today's show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you have not subscribed, do it. And until next time, go Pack Go.